Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live video. So this is your Ole Gunnar Solsjaker press conference reaction, for the game against West Ham on Sunday. 2 o'clock kick-off at the London Stadium, and we do know it is match day 6. So I am, going to interpret, some of the stuff, that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker, did say, throughout his press conference. So the first thing he was going on about, was in regards to Mason Greenwood, and, Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has hinted out that Mason Greenwood, could start the game on Sunday. That would mean, that would be his first start from the start this season, of course, in the Premier League. Mason Greenwood obviously, scored the goal against FC Astana. That was actually, his first official senior goal for Manchester United this season. But I give him, man of the match in the game against FC Astana. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. But Solskjaer has actually, recently said, that it's impossible, to leave Mason Greenwood out of the team, when he's scoring goals. And Solskjaer did assure that Mason Greenwood, will get more minutes under his belt, especially in the Premier League, if he's to keep this consistency up. So maybe I would, go with Mason Greenwood on Sunday. Obviously, we do know that he's only 17 years of age. Obviously, don't forget he only made his full debut for the club at the end of last season in the 2-0 home defeat to Cardiff and that. But yeah, it was good to see Mason Greenwood, getting the winning goal against FC Astana. So it is good in the aspect, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a lot of trust with him and his young players. Obviously, in the game against FC Astana, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had made alterations and that, so he did go with the youth. Obviously, Tuan Zebi played in the game against FC Astana. Mason Greenwood played, Chon played, and Romero played, and Solskjaer did assure that all of them, would have been playing, prior to the game and that. But this is match day 6. We are still early in the season. Don't forget, we haven't enjoyed a great start to this season. We have played 6 games so far this season in all competitions. We've won 3, we've drawn 2, and of course we have lost 1. But it's not that we've played particularly bad in games. I thought, we should have won at Wolves earlier on in the season. We should have really won at Southampton. It's just that, we're not being clinical enough in front of goal. We do seem to be, creating a lot of chances like we did against FC Astana. I think we had around 20 shots on goal. We created around 13 chances, but only managed to score 1 goal. So far this season, we've only managed around 8 or 9 goals in 6 games in all competitions so far this season. So we have got to be more clinical in front of goal. Also, Solskjaer did say, in his press conference, he's given us an update in regards to Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial. Now, it is very, very likely, them two are going to be out for the game at the weekend against West Ham. Pogba's out, as you all know, with an ankle injury. Pogba has missed the last 2 games for Manchester United with an ankle injury. And, it's a shame, to be quite monetary. So it's looking likely, Pogba is going to be missing this game. So with the injuries we've got, Solskjaer will make alterations, for the game on Sunday. Obviously, we do know that Anthony Martial is out with a thigh injury. Obviously, it confirmed that, prior to the, FC Astana game, that, Martial, Pogba, Luke Shaw and Daniel James had all, missed training and that. We do know that Daniel James is the latest absentee. Obviously, he sustained, a knock in the 1-0 victory against Leicester. I think, he could be a doubt for this weekend, so Daniel James, could miss another game and that. But yeah, it's confirmed Pogba and Martial, definitely, will not be playing in this game. And we do know with Luke Shaw, obviously, he's got a hamstring injury. Luke Shaw and Anthony Martial have actually, missed the last 3 games in all competitions. Luke Shaw is out with a hamstring injury. I think he's expected to return at the end of the month, in the game against Arsenal at Old Trafford. Yeah, so we have still got quite a few injuries. Diego Dalot now is okay. He's recovered from injury. Don't forget he did play in the FC Astana game. Obviously, he recently was out with a groin injury, but it confirmed, that he had returned back to training. Jesse Lingard now is no longer ill, so he should be involved on Sunday as well. But yeah, I think it's likely that Pogba and Anthony Martial, are going to be a huge doubt. So hopefully Pogba and Martial can be either back, for the Rochdale game in the Carabao Cup, or the game against Arsenal at the end of the month. But it's a shame, that we have got imperative players out and that, I think, Pogba has done okay this season in certain parts. He hasn't performed to the same sort of extent as how Daniel James, Martial, Pasaka and Harry Maguire, and that's performed, but he has, done okay in parts. I think Anthony Martial, before he sustained his injury, I think he's enjoyed a pretty decent start to the season. Obviously, Martial now is into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. Don't forget, it confirmed at the start of the season, that Anthony Martial has been given that number 9 shirt. So obviously, he will play in that central position, when he does regain full fitness. Even though we do know he primarily plays on the left, out wide. But yeah, Martial, like I said, he scored 50 goals for the club, since his arrival from Monaco back in 2015. Now Martial is into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. Don't forget the club had given him a new long-term contract, back in January. But I think analysing most of his Man United career, I think he's been mainly consistent. He has had some rough patches and that. He's had bad spell. He had a few bad spells under Mourinho, but prior to that, I think Martial has been very very consistent player. Martial and Rashford are compatible in that aspect. They can both play centrally. They can both play out wide. But I think Martial's more of the standout player essentially, than Marcus Rashford. So I think when Martial's fully fit and when Rashford plays, Rashford will probably play mainly on that flank. Rashford wasn't too bad against FC Astana. He did have chances, but obviously didn't put them into the back of the net. But I did say anyway, we have got a lot of players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve at Manchester United. And obviously, we do know that Eric Bay's a long-term absence. He's definitely out. He's Eric Bay. He's a long-term absence. He's out until the new year with a knee injury. Obviously, we do know that Fossil Mensah is a long-term absence. I did initially say I thought, Pogba and Martial, would have been fully fit, for the game at the weekend. But obviously, this just hasn't materialised. To be quite honest with you, Daniel James is a doubt. He's not assured he will miss the game on Sunday. Could possibly be involved, but I don't think he's been recently, training Daniel James. To be quite honest with you, and he's been absolutely, fantastic so far this season as Daniel James, He has scored 3 goals this season so far as Daniel James. Obviously, it was a shame that he didn't score against Leicester, because if he had scored against Leicester, he would have become the first player, to score in his first 3 Old Trafford games, since the Ole Gunnar Solsjaker, that is. But Daniel James has been absolutely fantastic. Don't get him wrong, I think he's still a prospect and needs time to develop. But I think he's settled in this Manchester United team, really, really well. He is only 21 years of age. But I've been, very, very proud of Daniel James. And so we have still got quite a few injury concerns, but we do know that this is a game that Man United, do have to win on Sunday. And I think Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are aware, this is going to be a tough game against West Ham. West Ham have enjoyed a pretty decent start to this season. Don't forget, they are unbeaten in their last 5 games in all competitions. Are West Ham, and I think they have got quite a few injuries. I think they've also got 1 suspension. I think West Ham have got Mikel Antonio out with injury till January. They've also got Winston Reid out, and they have also got what's his name now, Arthur Masukovic or something like that. He's currently suspended for West Ham. I think also Lanzini I think has got some kind of injury for West Ham. But like I did say, we mainly usually do good against West Ham. Don't forget, we lost this fixture last season at the London Stadium by 3 goals to 1. Obviously, this was back under the Jose Mourinho era, and obviously after that result last season, that was actually the turning point then for Jose Mourinho and that. And there was a lot of Man United fans at that point, demanding him out with the football club and that. I think we did beat them at home last season, by 2 goals to 1. So I'm just going to give you a few statistics, about, Man United and West Ham, over the years and that. Obviously, it does recently, he's actually said that Man United have scored more Premier League goals against West Ham than any other side in the competition, basically. So we scored more Premier League goals than West Ham than any other side in the competition. We have only lost twice in our last 21 Premier League meetings with West Ham, and actually, Rashford has been, I think he was directly involved in 4 goals in 351 minutes, in action against West Ham and that. So he's statistically, Rashford's record must be pretty good and that against West Ham. But actually, West Ham have won 2 of their last 4 league games at home, against us and that. So we do know it's going to be a pretty tight affair and that. But we know it's a game, that Manchester United, do have to win. If we do want to keep our hopes up for that top 4, because I did say, if we can get the top 4 this season, I would say, analysing if we get the top 4 this season, I'll give my overall analysis on it and say, we have had a good season, because I did say, it's very imperative, that we do get back, into the Champions League. So yeah, I did did say at the start of the season, our expectations this season, will be to finish in that top four, perhaps maybe win some silverware, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations and that. But yeah, like I said, good start to the Europa League campaign. Getting off to getting off to winning our first game, which is very, very good by 1-0. But we do know that AZ Alkmaar and Partizan Belgrade, they're going to be much they're going to be much difficult games, are them two. So they're going to be more of a tester, for Manchester United and that. But now we focus on the game on Sunday against West Ham. But like I did say, I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure, can become successful at Manchester United. Obviously, like I said, I think he needs more time, to make more investment in the Manchester United squad. I think we need to give him at least a couple of windows, see who he can recommend into the squad and that, because there's still deficiencies in the squad, like I said, that do need to be addressed. Obviously we need to get at least one midfield even in January or next summer, because that midfield is one of the priority areas where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. Don't forget for the majority of the summer as well, was in search for a right winner. But yeah, these still problematic areas in the squad, and I'm happy in the aspect that throughout the course of the summer, we did address some of the problematic areas. We got that experienced centre half in. We also got that right back in. Don't forget we spent over £140 million on 3 players throughout the course of the summer, on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, and on Harry Maguire. And like I said, we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far. A lot of people believe that actually and Wan-Bissaka has been our most consistent signing so far. Don't forget the club paid around £50 million for him earlier on in the summer, but I think he's become a fruition for Manchester United and that. And I do believe he can be our fullback for the next decade, can and Wan-Bissaka in that. Don't forget he was primarily a right winger when he was younger, but as he was developing, he got rotated as a right back and that. And I think so far this season he's replicating what he did with Crystal Palace last season. Is Wan-Bissaka didn't make his England senior debut as he should have done, really, due to his back injury he had sustained a couple of weeks ago, which made him withdraw from the England squad. That prevented him, of course, from making his England senior debut. We know that he missed a game yesterday, and Wan-Bissaka against FC Astana obviously was rested, so we do know he's going to be playing on Sunday. And Harry Maguire, I think he's had a fantastic start to his Man United career. He has played really, really well alongside Victor Lindelof this season. I think they've both complemented each other fantastically well. Obviously we do know we do know that the club paid around £80 million for Harry Maguire, so obviously he is the most expensive defender in the world. He's obviously our second most expensive signing overall, just behind Paul Pogba. And a lot of people said, and I even said at the time we confirmed the signing of Maguire, maybe we did overpay for Harry Maguire, but I did say in these markets this day and age, you've got to overpay for certain players and that, and we're well known for spending big on players and overpaying for players anywhere. But then the disappointing thing is, then when it comes to letting them go, we'll let them go for next to nothing, basically, and that's in that aspect, that's bad business from the football club. And like I did say, there's been prime examples of that this summer. Obviously, we let Darmian go for next to nothing. We let, of course, Ander Herrera go on a free transfer, and we let his contract run down and let him go on a free transfer. So Man United are actually known for doing that. But I think Harry Maguire has addressed our defensive deficiencies fantastically well. Also, he was rested in the game against FC Astana. We obviously saw Jones and Tuanzebe, play as a centre-back partnership in the game against FC Astana, because we do know that Phil Jones and Marcus Rojo, made their first appearances, for the club this season. But yeah, he did make a lot of alterations in the game against FC Astana, and that Chon obviously, made his first start from the start this season, which was good. Obviously, we saw Angel Gomez, I think, making his first start this season, so he did make a hell of a lot of alterations in the squad. But yeah, so this is a game, Manchester United, have got to win on Sunday against West Ham and that. But like I did say, I think, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League, I think that's what went against us in the summer transfer window, because obviously Champions League football is always very imperative, when you do, want to attract players to the elite level, and obviously, we're not in Champions League football, so I think in that aspect, that went against us in the summer transfer window and that. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does need more time, and I think, the Man United board, did confirm at the start of the season that they realised the board themselves, they obviously received a lot of criticism and that, for not getting all the players that Solskjaer wanted in, but I think they've come to realise that, they didn't back him enough, throughout the course of summer. So I think the board have assured that Solskjaer will be back in January or perhaps next summer. And this is what they have assured. And you think, regardless of what happens this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job, should be safe for at least this season. But we have got to get in that top four this season. And I did say, we have got big ambitions for the future. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to get Manchester United back to winning silverware. And that, this is something, obviously, he wants to bring back to the football club. He wants to bring that fear factor back to the football club and that winning mentality back to the football club. Because we know it hasn't been there, since the Alex Ferguson and era. And obviously, this is something Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring back to the club, but I know a lot of people and the vast majority of people out there have got huge doubts about that, because a lot of people have got element of concerns about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maybe some people believe, his tenure, will not be successful at Manchester United. But like I did say, 3 managers have already been sacked from the football club, since the Alex Ferguson era. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is our 4th permanent manager, since the Alex Ferguson era. But I did say anyway, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. We're not really known for a sacking club anyway. So, you can still quite frankly say Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding, because analysing, the majority of his squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. But I'll credit him, he has got a lot of trust in his young players. He's trying different sort of formulas and that, which is very, very good. But I did initially say at the end of last season, and I said at the start of this season, our expectations this season were never going to be to challenge for the league or win the league, because we do know we're not good enough to win the league yet. Our squad is currently not good enough, and I don't think we'll win the league, at least for the next couple of seasons and that. I don't think we could win it, for the next 2 or 3 years, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, because at the moment City is strides ahead of us, Liverpool and that are strides ahead of us. But if we get the top 4 this season, I will be very, very happy indeed. But yeah, we've got quite a few players in our agenda, who I presume, we are going to go in for next summer. And I do believe some of the players we was in for throughout the course of summer, we could actually, reignite our interest in some of them in January. Maybe we'll leave some until next summer. But yeah, so reportedly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, does want to continue the policy of signing, young British players, because Solskjaer did say earlier on in his summer, that he did, want to recommend, young British players that can grow, develop, and succeed in that at Manchester United. But he still wants to continue the same policy. So reportedly he did say, we've targeted 5 British players for next summer and that. Obviously, as you all know, James Maddison and Jadon Sancho, we have identified them as our number 1 priority targets, for next summer. There's also Sean Longstaff on our agenda. Don't forget we was in for Sean Longstaff throughout the course of the summer as well. I think you mentioned Callum Wilson and Nathan Collins. So reportedly they're the 5 British players Manchester United are targeting for next summer. But we are aware that Jadon Sancho and James Maddison are obviously going to cost the football club a substantial amount of money. Probably Jadon Sancho is going to cost us in the excess of around £100 million. James Maddison's probably going to cost us around 70 or 80 million pounds, because probably Leicester are going to demand a similar fee, to what they did do for Harry Maguire. So yeah, they are going to cost us a substantial amount, but don't forget, we're a massive club, we've got massive revenues, we've got players on that on big contracts, so we can afford, we have got the financial power, to meet those valuations, and we do know if we did recommend them to win, we're aware of how much, they would improve the squad. I think James Maddison, would add that depth in that midfield, and I think Jadon Sancho, would blend in very, very well alongside Martial, Rashford and Daniel James in our attacking line and that. With regards to James Maddison, though, there was a lot of reports going on about the other week saying that we could go in for him next summer, or we could even consider making a move for James Maddison in January. Now, James Maddison is only 22 years of age. Obviously, this is only his 2nd season in the Premier League, with Leicester. Obviously, it was his debut season last season. Don't forget, James Maddison, this is a good statistic. He created more chances than any other player last season, did James Maddison. I think he must have created around 100 chances. Obviously, he's still got 4 years left in his current contract with Leicester. He's primarily an attacking midfielder, but Brendan Rodgers has put him on the left quite a few times. Leicester did pay around £20 million for him from Norwich last summer, because he did serve a good couple of years in the Championship. Obviously, initially began his career with Coventry, where he actually where actually, quite a few teams went in for him, when he was a youngster at Coventry. But reportedly, we've been interested in James Maddison since June, but we've only been tentatively linked to him. We was only tentatively linked to him throughout the course of the summer. It wasn't, relentlessly, linked to him. He wasn't one of our, main priority targets. But we're probably seeing him, as probably an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because obviously, even though Paul Pogba stayed at the football club this summer, I still believe his plans for the future, Paul Pogba, is to make a move to Real Madrid. So Pogba could leave in January, and possibly, Pogba it could even leave the football club next summer. I do presume it'd be definitely, one of them. But James Maddison, I believe, would be the right solution for Manchester United. I think, he would blend in our midfield fantastically well. And if in regards to Jadon Sancho, don't forget we was in for him early on in the summer. We actually identified Jadon Sancho as our number one priority target. As our number one priority target, throughout in January was our number one priority target, but our move got screwed for Jadon Sancho. Obviously, of our failure to qualify for the Champions League. Like I said, he's probably going to cost us around £100 million, so we're going to have to pay a club record fee for him. Obviously, we do know our most expensive signing at the moment is Paul Pogba, who of course we paid £89 million for. But Jadon Sancho, like I said, he's got ambitions for the future, and obviously those ambitions are to win titles and that with Borussia Dortmund, but he said he still he does not know what his future holds in that, so he's still uncertain regarding his future. Reports emerged out quite earlier on this season saying that Jadon Sancho is set to leave Borussia Dortmund next summer. But yeah, I really like him. If we are to reignite our interest, I think we will go in for Jadon Sancho next summer. Like I said, he's only 19 years of age. He's had 2 good seasons with Dortmund. He's now into his 3rd season as a Borussia Dortmund player. He has made about 63 first team appearances and scored around 17 goals. He's still under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. But I think if Jadon Sancho did come back to the Premier League, I think it would help him with his development more. It will create a better platform for him and that. Because don't forget, before he was at Dortmund, he did serve a couple of years with Manchester City. Did Jadon Sancho? Obviously, never got a shot first team football at City, so this is why I left City, to join Borussia Dortmund and that. But yeah, I would, love him at Manchester United. But don't forget, in our squad, there is a lot of experienced, players in that in the squad. We have got quite a lot of young players now. We've got quite a few Finch players in that in the squad. But definitely, we need to see. We need to definitely see more improvements. But I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure to work out, and I will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all the way. He was a club legend. He was a great player for Manchester United. For 11 long years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that, and he has got that proven pedigree as a player. Obviously one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moments as a player, obviously, was back in 1999, of course, when he did win the club the treble. Obviously, that is the club's greatest achievement, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moment as manager, obviously, was in that miraculous comeback against PSG last season in the Champions League. But I've got element of concerns, but I think a lot of people have reflecting on his managerial experience, because he hasn't really got the experience as a manager, not really to the highest level as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So that is another element of concern. He did well when he was interim manager at the football club last season in that 3-month period, because the results were good, the performances were good, he exceeded expectations, and it has seemed to have gone downhill since obviously since he got the job in March earlier on this year and that. But for me, he still needs time. But for me, definitely still needs time and that. We haven't enjoyed a great start this season, but we can't enjoy a worse season than what we saw last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. We finished 6th. Obviously we failed to qualify for the Champions League, and I think last season we finished by 32 points behind Manchester City, and I think last season was the lowest we finished since the David Moyes era, because don't forget, under the David Moyes era we did actually finish 7th. But yeah, I think we need to see more incomings in January and next summer, but not only more incomings. I still think these now players that do need to lead the football club still, even though we did get that summer clear out that we did want. Quite a lot of players now have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. I think around 6 or 7 players have left the football club. Obviously a couple of goalkeepers and that got loaned out. Obviously Italy has been a popular destination this summer for the vast majority of our players who've left. Obviously Smalling went to Italy on loan to Roma. Darmian's he's made a return back to Italy. Sanchez has gone to Inter Milan on loan. Lukaku gone to Inter Milan on loan. So in that aspect, they are reuniting. Obviously, Ander Herrera, obviously, went to PSG. These are the players that didn't go to Italy. Herrera went to PSG on a free transfer. Fellaini went to China in January. Fellaini and Herrera obviously were two long-serving players at the football club. Herrera served 5 years at Man United. Fellaini served 6 years at Man United. Herrera, for the majority of his Man United career, was mainly consistent. Fellaini, was very, very below par. In the majority of his 6 years at the football club. Obviously. Dean Henson went out on loan. Joe Pereira, went out on loan and that. But it just was a shame, really, that we didn't recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera and Marian Fellaini. Some people say it's a shame, that we didn't recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, so that also, was a shame. So still lots, needs to be addressed in the squad. But like I said, we've got a lot of young players in the squad now, and I did say, they're going to be a big part of the squad this season. Mason Greenwood, as we all know, he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. Chon, he should now be a big part of the squad this season because he's committed his future with Manchester United at least for this season. Because don't forget, earlier on in the summer, PSV inquired about getting him on loan. His former club Feyenoord inquired about getting him on loan. But obviously, he remained at Manchester United. Reporters said that Chon was in negotiations with the football club over a new contract the other week. This is what it actually said and that. But we do know now he's currently staying there. Chon, don't forget, he only made his full debut last season. He actually made his competitive debut against Reading, did Chong. Like I said, Angel Gomez, it was good to see him play yesterday, in the game against FC Astana. I think he did, as you say anyway, that Gomez is going to be a big part of the squad this season. He is, another one of our midfield options. Fred was very impressive yesterday. He started the game from the start, and I think Fred needs to start more often from the start. And that, to get, we need to see glimpses, of how good he can be and that, and we have seen glimpses of how good he can be, saw it towards the back end of last season. I also thought he did well in the Leicester game, when he came on as substitute, Fred. But we know he hasn't performed to the same sort of level, as we all, thought he would have done, because he did really, really well at Shakhtar Donetsk. He was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk, but hasn't really replicated this mainly at Manchester United. But Solsjaker did say he expects to see better things from him in this season. Like I did say, McTominay, he's had a fantastic start to his Man United career. He actually didn't play yesterday. Did Scott McTominay, surprisingly. He actually didn't play yesterday, McTominay, as I thought, he would have done, reflecting on his recent performances. So I thought initially, he would have kept his place in the team, but probably he's in line, to start at the weekend. In regards to McTominay being the long-term solution for Man United, I have, got element of concerns about that. These question marks around him, can he keep the consistency up? But so far this season, I think McTominay has been absolutely fantastic. Don't forget, he has been mainly playing alongside Paul Pogba, but obviously, in the game against Leicester, he was playing alongside Nemanja Matic. Matic has actually, started the last 2 games, don't forget. It's obviously because of, it's due to Paul Pogba's absence, basically. Like I did say, Pereira, he's another one of the young upcoming players. Obviously, I think we need to, give him a bit more time. I don't think he's enjoyed a great start to this season, in the games he has played, and I think, he has been below par. But I did say, the likes of McTominay, Pereira, Fred, or Angel Gomez, I think any of them are much better solutions than Nemanja Matic and that. Alex Tuanzebe, he's definitely going to be a big part of the squad this season. He's featured in the last 2 games. He started yesterday and he came on in the game against Leicester. Despite the fact that Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof are our first choice centre backs, I think Alex Tuanzebe is still going to get the game time that is required basically to him. But and obviously Alex Tuanzebe's got that experience. Obviously, he did get it from last season because obviously he was on loan with Aston Villa in that last season. So we have got quite a lot of young players in that in the squad. But for me, there is still problematic players at Manchester United that I think need to be moved on in January or next summer, or maybe in the next year or 2 or something like that. I think, Phil Jones, is definitely, one of the problematic players at Manchester United. We do know that Jones has been at the football club now for 9 years, but he's been here 9 years now. Well, 8 years, but he's into his 9th season as a Manchester United player. So Jones has nearly been at the football club a decade. And obviously the club gave him a new long-term contract last season. I don't think, we should have given him a new long-term contract last season, but needs to be moved on in January or next summer. Obviously Marcus Rojo, it was good to see him, make his first appearance at the club, yesterday, this season. Obviously, he was playing on the left-hand side, because we do know that Rojo, he's versatile. He can play as a centre-back, a wing-back and a full-back, and that, so his versatility in that back line is very, very good. Don't forget, quite a few teams, went in for Rojo earlier on in the summer. Everton had inquired about getting him on deadline day. Don't forget, Marcel and Monaco and AC Milan were interested in Rojo, and that. We put around the £25 million valuation, and I think we are still, we would be open to selling him in January next summer, because we was open to selling him in, this summer and that, but obviously, he didn't leave Manchester United, and I think he's sustained quite a few injuries, as a Manchester United player, as Marcus Rojo, so I think he's a player that does need to be moved on in the future. Nemanja Matic, like I said, he's one of the problematic players at the football club. Is Nemanja Matic. Like I've been recently updating you about Nemanja Matic. Quite recently, he has been subjected to quite a lot of transfer speculation, as Matic, don't forget. He's been subjected to quite a lot of transfer speculation. Reportedly, he's attracted interest, from 4 clubs. Reportedly, Juventus, AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Borussia Dortmund are interested, in Nemanja Matic. Well, they're interested in getting Nemanja Matic on a free transfer at the end of the season, when his current contract, does expire. We do actually, have an option, to extend his contract, by a further year. And I think, Matic has, give his overarching view of what he thinks of this season. And I think, he's become infuriated, with lack of game time. Of course, he has been getting this season, despite the fact, he has started the last 2 games. But that's obviously due to Paul Pogba's absence. But I think Matic has initially, lost his place in the team, to Scott McTominay, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Matic now is into his 3rd season as a Manchester United player. Obviously, he's made 89 appearances for the club in all competitions. 66 of those appearances have come in the Premier League and that. We paid quite a bit of money for him. We paid £40 million for him from Chelsea a couple of years ago. So again, in that aspect, we've overpaid for the player, because Matic wasn't worth £40 million at the time. Where we did get him. He did win a couple of titles, I think, with Chelsea now, and during his Man United tenure, we have seen glimpses of how good he can be in that. He can pass the ball well at times, but for me he's too slow, and he makes that midfielder look totally imbalanced. And he's now 31 years of age anyway. He's knocking on. But I think Matic leaving Man United in January or next summer would be beneficial for him and the football club and that. But Juventus, don't forget, they're known for getting players on free transfers in recent years. Don't forget, they got Emre Can on a free transfer. They got Aaron Ramsey on a free transfer, and obviously they got Adrian Rabiot on a free transfer. Don't forget. But I think definitely, Matic is another player that does need to be moved on by the football club. Definitely, needs to be moved on by the football club and that. But so for me, these 2 more players that do need to leave Manchester United, in my opinion. But I do believe we should be much more of a commanding position than we're in. Obviously, with the dimension, the history of this football club, because we are the most successful team in England, historically, in that 13 Premier League, 7 all first divisions. That's 20 titles all in all. And we should be up there competing with the history of this football club, and also reflecting on the amount of money that's been invested into the football club in the last 6 or 7 years or so in all the managerial areas. We should be, in much more of a better position. So it just shows always spending big on players and getting them Galactico players doesn't always guarantee you success, and that's been proven with Man United in the last 6 or 7 years or so. Like I said, in regards to Paul Pogba, I updated you on well, I think it was like midway through the video I did on my match reaction for the Man United FC Astana game. Paul Scholes has actually slammed Paul Pogba, to be quite honest, and I think he's instructed Manchester United to actually sell Paul Pogba, I should presume, in January, because Paul Scholes believes that us losing Paul Pogba wouldn't be a loss to the football club. He thinks there's other players in that team that can perform to the same sort of standard as Paul Pogba can. People I'll have different overarching views on the Paul Pogba situation, and some people believe he makes a big difference in the team. Some people believe we wouldn't look so bad without him and all that. And I think without Paul Pogba, that'd be bad to lose Paul Pogba, obviously. But if we did get an adequate replacement for him, then I wouldn't be I wouldn't have as much concern about that in that aspect. But I still believe anyway that, Paul probably, does want to leave the football club. Don't forget, Pogba did say it earlier on in the summer. He did say he was seeking for a new challenge, and, he publicly admitted, that he does want to leave Manchester United and that. And he basically wanted to leave, to rejuvenate his career. And I did give it a couple of main factor reasons, why Paul Pogba does want to leave the football club, because maybe he's frustrated with the lack of competitiveness. Maybe he wants to be, winning silverware. Maybe he wants to be in Champions League football. Maybe he wants to be playing amongst good players, and he feels as though he isn't, none of this is accomplishing him this for him at Manchester United, and that, as you all know, like I did say, I think we're keen on, well, we're trying to convince Paul Pogba to sign a new contract at the football club, because there was talks quite a few weeks ago that Ed Woodward had met up with Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola and that, and obviously, there was talks that, Raiola discussed with the football club about, Paul Pogba's future, and also, the possibility of renewing his contract, because we do know that Paul Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract at Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year. We do know that Paul Pogba, he's on around 290 grand a week in the football club, so in that aspect, he is, he is the highest paid player at Manchester United, as we all know. He's Paul Pogba. He's the highest paid player in the football. Well, one of the highest paid players in the football club now. Obviously, Paul Pogba's into his 4th season at Man United, since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. And analysed the majority of his Man United tenure so far, he has been mainly inconsistent in that. I think before he sustained his injury, he hasn't, like I said, he hasn't had a bad start to this season. But I still believe his preference for the future, is to make a move to Real Madrid. I did say, the stumbling block, throughout the course of the summer was reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we said earlier on in the summer that we wanted around 179 or 180 million pounds for him, and obviously Real Madrid were not willing to pay that, so we priced him out of the transfer market. And we said if we are to let him go in January, we do want around 179 million pounds, so more or less want the same figure as what we wanted earlier on in the summer. That's almost double than what we paid for him from Juventus back in 2016. But if Real Madrid or any other team are willing to meet that valuation in January, then obviously we will consider softening our stance in regards to Paul Pogba. But reflecting on it throughout the course of summer, Real Madrid, they spent around £300 million on players. Around £300 million on players, on 5 players, that is. They did sell some players, so they did, manager to generate, some of the money back. But Zinedine Zidane will be infuriated, that he didn't get his number 1 priority target, because, Zinedine Zidane, wanted to get a deal over the line for Paul Pogba. Don't forget, Christian Eriksen was also on Real Madrid's agenda, but I think Paul Pogba's still going to be leaving the football club. And, don't forget, it come out a couple of weeks ago saying that Adidas had a big part to play in Pogba staying at the football club, because actually Adidas wanted Paul Pogba to remain at the football club, because they believe it's better for them commercially. But it wasn't only Real Madrid that were in for Pogba this summer. Don't forget, Barcelona were linked with him. There was talks about him making a return back to Turin, because to be fair, Pogba did have 4 good years in Turin, but hasn't mainly replicated this at Man United. Obviously, there was PSG, I think, were tentatively linked to him. It allegedly said that Pogba had agreed a deadline day move to PSG, but reportedly his move to PSG never materialised because of the Neymar saga and that. So there was quite a few teams in for him and that. Pogba with the football club has won the Europa League and the League Cup. That came in his 2nd season and that with Manchester United. But for the entirety of the summer, Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola was working on getting Paul Pogba's transfer to Real Madrid completed. But Solsjaker spoke a lot about Paul Pogba throughout the course of summer. Well, he actually spoken to the vast majority of our players, and he did say that Paul Pogba doesn't need to lead the football club, to fulfill his ambitions. But Pogba said early on in the summer that, he wanted to leave. He basically classified Real Madrid as one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he was obviously keen on playing them under Zinedine Zidane's guidance and that. But when Paul Pogba's at his best, he's like, 2 players in one. He's like 2 players in one, and you mainly see the best of Paul Pogba, when he's freed up. He hasn't scored this season. I think he's provided a couple of assists though this season as Pogba. Yeah, so I think he'll still end up, leaving the football club in my opinion. Obviously, we got good news, didn't we, earlier on this week, in regards to Victor Lindelof and David De Gea. Obviously, two players have now this week committed their futures at Manchester United. It got confirmed a couple of days ago, like he updated you on. Victor Lindelof has signed a new long-term contract at Man United, so he signed a 5-year deal. There is an option, to extend it by a further year, and that very, very good news is this, because I think Victor Lindelof is flourishing he is flourishing at Manchester United. Is Victor Lindelof. He's flourishing at Man United. Is Victor Lindelof. I think he's done okay this season in parts. He was a bit poor in the game against Crystal Palace and Southampton, but I thought he really stepped up in the 1-0 victory over Leicester. We know that he didn't play against FC Stanley yesterday, but Lindelof, like I said, is analysing the most of his career. I think he's been consistent. Did well in his second season, done okay this season. Wasn't so good in his first season. Don't forget, Victor Lindelof's made 74 appearances for the club in all competitions, since his arrival from Benfica back in 2017. And I do believe we paid around £31 million for Victor Lindelof. So it's good he's signed a new long-term contract. Don't forget, early on this week, it was on Monday that it confirmed that David De Gea signed a new long-term contract at the football club. He's signed a 4-year deal as De Gea, with an option of a further year. So that takes him under contract with the club until 2023. And obviously David De Gea now is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, because obviously he's on from between 350 to 375 grand a week. So I'm glad De Gea committed his long-term future with the football club. But I did say, we got quite a few players contract, that were in their last years of their deals. We did it with Martial, we did it with Rashford, we did it with Juan Mata, earlier on in the summer. So it's good that in that aspect, we have addressed, the contract renewals, which I'm, very, very happy about. But like I did say, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure, to work out at Manchester United. I've already given you the reasons why, it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, at the time we got Mourinho, when, we thought, there would have been, there would have been changes in that. We thought we would have been very consistent under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, didn't materialise in that. I think Jose Mourinho had 2.5 years at Manchester United. He did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season at the football club and that, but it just didn't exceed expectation levels. There was no sort of winning philosophy, or that mentality wasn't there under the Jose Mourinho era. There's no sort of there was just nothing there. It was part of the bus football and that, and he spent just under £400 million with the football club. Don't forget, on 11 players, the Mourinho, but just didn't work out under him. Under Louis van Gaal era, he didn't have the right sort of philosophy in that. I think he didn't have a really long tenure at Man United. He was longer than David Moyes' tenure at the football club. But like I said, I had the same sort of hatred for Louis van Gaal, that I did David Moyes there anyway. But Louis van Gaal there was quite a lot of money spent under Van Gaal. I think over £200 million was spent under Van Gaal. Van Gaal brought a lot of players in. The vast majority of them now have left, but there's still some of them here now. Van Gaal brought Luke Shaw in, who was still at the club. He brought Martial in, who was still at the club. He brought the likes of Blinden, who's not here now. He brought Schweinsteiger in. He brought Schweinsteiger in. He brought Falcao in. He brought Morgan Schneiderlin in. He brought Herrera in, don't forget. He brought Di Maria in. So Louis van Gaal, brought quite a lot of players in. Also Memphis Depay. He enjoyed a difficult time at Manchester United. So Van Gaal, did bring quite a lot of players in. Obviously Moyes, he only managed to bring, Juan Mata in and Marion Fellaini, and around £67 million was spent under David Moyes. Obviously, David Moyes, only had, he's lasted, 10 months at Man United. So in that aspect, he only had a short tenure at the football club. Obviously, Moyes only came in at that current time because obviously, Ferguson had recommended him in. Obviously, there were both Scottish, don't forgetting that. But I said when we brought in David Moyes, it was never going to work out for him at Manchester United, despite the fact that he did serve around, 10 years with Everton before he came in. Obviously, he was a Preston manager, don't forget. But he never had that proven pedigree, Moyes, of winning in his way, never really dealt with top players. So we knew it wasn't going to work out under him. But like I did say, we had 20 odd years of success under Alex Ferguson and that, which was very, very good. And that, he had great players that he brought in and that, obviously, quite a lot of them, developed and that. And like I did say, I said now, I'm hopeful now that this team at this day and age, can replicate what the team did under Alex Ferguson. I just don't see it happening because I don't think anyone is going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never going to replicate, what we did under Alex Ferguson. That's something we've got to accept and that. But we want to get back, to being a competitive elite level football club. That's very, very imperative indeed. That's very, very imperative indeed. But yeah, the main part of this video, this is actually, the West Ham Man United preview for Sunday. It is match day 6 in the Premier League. It's our 7th game in all competitions. Is the game against West Ham. And like I did say, games are coming up thick and fast. Rochdale in the Carabao Cup on the 25th, which is Wednesday. Next Wednesday, that is. Then it's Arsenal on the 30th of September and that. But yeah, we know Pogba and Anthony Martial are definitely out as Solsjaker, as confirmed. Daniel James is a doubt, but it's not assured, he will miss the game. But more things regarding the team news and that, I think, more things, we'll definitely know update tomorrow. So yeah, this is a big game for Man United on Sunday, like I said. West Ham have enjoyed a pretty decent start to the season. I think they've registered 8 points from possible 15 in that. So, yeah, so we need to win the game. We need to try and score more than one goal because, we've scored one goal in every game this season, apart from the Chelsea game. We scored 4 goals in the Chelsea game, don't forget. Yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always. And by the way, I have got a FIFA 20. I bought it the other day, FIFA 20. I might do a video, of me playing FIFA 20 maybe later on today and that. But yeah, I've got it now, the full game. It's just a trial. I think I got it through EA Access. You get a free. You get like 10 hours. You get a 10-hour trial. Of the full game, and then I think after the trial, then I think you got to wait until the game is fully released on the 27th of this month. Well, 27th September is the standard edition when the standard edition comes out, but if you get the other 2 editions, you can get it on the 24th September. So 24th September, so in that aspect, you can get it 3 days earlier than the standard edition and that. But yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you guys all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.